Welcome to the AC 24/7 Top Story Countdown. We'll guide you through the biggest news of the day. Our focus, advocating our rights, advocating health, and advocating Earth. Here's our pick for number 4.
I'd love to be able to vote for a Republican, but yeah, he's not winning me over with this.
Terry Hohentanner is talking about Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Terry lives here in Celebration, Florida, a town developed by the Walt Disney Company in 1994. Celebration is located near Disney World. Residents and visitors here have been closely following the Disney-DeSantis feud.
It's disappointing, number one, and the timing of it at least seems very retaliatory, based on some of the decisions that Disney made, and then almost a little bit of a pissing match, quite honestly, to see who can up the other.
We spoke with 30 people here, mostly residents. Half of them identified as Republican voters. But of the 9 people we spoke with who said they support DeSantis in his moves against Disney, only one of them was willing to go on camera.
I think that Disney's had too much power from the very beginning.
Republican Ann Fitzpatrick has lived in Celebration for 26 years. She's proud of DeSantis for taking on Disney.
I have agreed with every battle he has taken on.
What do you say to people who think the governor should focus more on other more important things around the state?
Well, he's done that, hasn't he? And Disney is not unimportant. They control so much here.
Republican Ron Kelly is another Celebration resident.
So you have supported Governor DeSantis in the past. What do you think about this battle with Disney?
Waste of time and money.
How has this whole thing changed your opinion of Governor DeSantis?
Yeah, I think he's a little bit off the track on this one. I can't fathom why he was go after them.
Independent voter Sally Moore calls DeSantis' move ridiculous.
Disney reacted the way I felt like they should have reacted. And then to keep going with it and be spiteful about it on DeSantis' part, I just think he's looking like a fool.
University of North Florida polled voters separately about DeSantis and Disney between February and March. Among all Florida voters, DeSantis had a 50% favorability rating, while Disney had a 52% favorability rating. Among just Republican voters in the state, DeSantis came out ahead, with 87% seeing him as favorable, compared to just 27% for Disney.
TheAdvocateChannel.com looks at the world through the lens of equality and inclusion. Subscribe, like, and share now. AC 24/7's Top Story Countdown continues with our producer's pick for number 3.
NBC's late-night host Seth Meyers recently told his audience of the grim possibility.
It is something that is not done lightly, and that I will be heartbroken to miss you as well.
CBS's Stephen Colbert spoke of how important the writers are to his show.
Without these people, this show would be called The Late Show with a guy rambling about the Lord of the Rings and boats for an hour.
But those late-night shows hosted by Colbert, Meyers, Jimmy Kimmel, and Jimmy Fallon are among the first casualties, as more than 11,000 movie and TV writers are now on strike. The Writers Guild of America voting to walk out after several weeks of negotiations with a group representing companies like Netflix, Amazon, Apple, Disney, NBC Universal, Paramount, and CNN's parent company, Warner Brothers Discovery.
You're going to see that on films that are also currently in production with writers. That's going to stop.
The last time the writers went on strike in 2007, they left for 100 days, leading to delays in production for months. Some of the late-night shows are the first to go into reruns because they're more dependent on writers, the shows written the same day they air.
I am actually in the Writers Guild as well, so I couldn't do the show without them.
Daytime shows, soap operas, and other popular programs will soon follow.
It's Saturday Night Live!
NBC announcing that Saturday Night Live will air repeats until further notice. What are they fighting over? One sticking point is money. Many writers say because streaming has changed the industry so much, they're making less than they were a decade ago.
Unfortunately, we have a situation where too many writers, certainly that I know, my contemporaries, guys in their 50s, women in their 50s, who all of a sudden, even though this is supposed to be peak television, are not making a living, are worrying about how they're going to pay their mortgage and stuff.
Analysts say writers are also worried about being replaced by computers writing scripts using artificial intelligence.
I think that a lot of writers feel as though with AI coming in, they might get really, really small gigs. And so they want to make sure that they have a minimum duration of work and a minimum pay guarantee.
How will the strike affect some streaming favorites like Apple Plus's Ted Lasso?
I think that's what it's all about, embracing change.
You're still going to see those shows come out week after week because they were delivered months ago to those studios and those companies. All the streamers have kind of bragged that they have a bunch of shows in the pipeline going forward.
Like the Advocate channel on Facebook for the best way to get updates on stories that advocate for equality, justice, our rights, and more. AC 24/7 continues with today's top 2 pick.
Tension has been hovering over Cleveland, Texas like fog since Friday.
It's been very scary, no sleep.
But on Tuesday night, the manhunt for Francisco Oropeza ended after he was arrested and charged with 5 counts of murder. Authorities say Oropeza was uninjured and taken into custody without incident.
Everybody played a very, very integral part in the arrest and capture of this coward, and he has been magistrated. He now will be taken to my jail and where his new residence will be.
Authorities say the 38-year-old was found in a house in Cut and Shoot, Texas, just under 20 miles away from the crime scene.
The tip for the suspect's location came in through the FBI's tip line, and we just want to thank the person who had the courage and bravery to call in the suspect's location.
Oropeza is accused of fatally shooting 5 people, including a 9-year-old boy and his mother. Officials say the gunfire began shortly after neighbors had asked Oropeza to stop shooting his rifle in front of his house.
First and foremost, the victims and their families are in the forefront of our minds, and we're extremely delighted that the suspect was captured.
Authorities say they are now trying to determine if anyone helped Oropeza hide in the days after the shooting.
Follow the Advocate channel on Twitter and Instagram to stay updated on stories that matter every day. Here's our number 1 story of the day. Take a look.
Air travel, transportation, customs, mail delivery, and many more services closely linked to federal funding might face severe interruptions. Social Security checks could be cut off, thousands of federal workers furloughed, and as all that money drained away from consumer spending, it might send the U.S. and global economies into a tailspin and perhaps even a major depression.
We know that it would be a catastrophe for our country to default.
Yet Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, in a letter to House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, warns it could all happen, potentially as early as June 1st, and it would cause severe hardship to American families. Financial analysts broadly agree the stock market would plummet, tanking 401ks and other investment savings for millions of families. Unemployment would leap up, state programs which rely on federal backing could also be sent reeling, and the banking system, already rattled by recent problems.
It's not in a position of strength that you can throw on another issue like the debt ceiling and say, well, the markets will just, this will be water off a duck's back. No, it won't. This could be something that could metastasize into a bigger problem when you already start with markets that are in the position that they're in right now.
It's all a guessing game since the federal government has never defaulted before. But in 2011, the Obama administration and congressional Republicans fought to the wire over spending and debt, with then Vice President Joe Biden in the negotiating chair.
We have to get this out of the way to get to the issue of growing the economy.
And based on just coming that close to default,
the stock market fell 17% in a 7-week span. The credit rating of the U.S. got downgraded, and we had a noticeable tightening of credit.
Thanks for watching the Advocate channel's top stories. We're on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. Follow, like, and share, or check out advocatechannel.com for even more stories that advocate for you.